I'm Vera Stewart, and welcome to the Vera Show. Welcome to November, and we're going to be talking everything Thanksgiving this month. I want to welcome you to Fireside Outdoor Kitchens and Grills, who's hosting us today. And you know, there's lots of great things going on out here. We've got a big green egg. We're going to learn a lot today. Greg McCulley, my good friend, is going to put together two great recipes. We're going to do a turkey on the big green egg, and we're going to do a standing rib roast. So you certainly don't want to miss this. You know, I'm so excited. They've got a brand new location on Broad Street. So let's go inside and see what Greg has got to offer, and let me introduce you. Ooh, I'm going to pull this door too. It's kind of windy out there. November has definitely come in with a bang, and we are inside. Greg, this is fabulous. I know you are so excited.
Thank you, I am.
Well, and you know, I remember you were in one store one day, and it was like 2 days later you were completely set up here. It seemed like to me anyway.
To you it did. It seemed like about 3 years to me, but yes, it was quick. We moved in about 3 weeks.
Well, you've got a lot going on here. Why don't we take a tour and you give me an idea of what all is in store for everybody when they come to see you.
Well, thank you. I'd love to. The point of this store was to open it up a little bit more and to be able to show people that we do more than just grills. One of our features is we do a lot with the hearth and the fireplace. We're fortunate enough to have about 30 years of experience in that side of the business, and now we have an opportunity to really show it. We've got 18 working gas log displays here in the store. We've got working outdoor fireplaces, working outdoor fire pits, electric fireplaces. We've even got wood-burning outdoor fire pits that you can cook on.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, when I walked in, I thought, gosh, that looks like a real fire in that fireplace.
Well, it is a real fire. It just happens to be gas.
It's just gas, but you can't tell. It's amazing. And you know, the whole idea of the outside pit, like you said, and then you've got one that you can cook on as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we, you know, we're true to our roots in the outdoor cooking world, so anytime we can put something on and cook on top of a fire, we're going to do it. And when we started having fire pits made, we made them that you could cook on. We also continue with this store with carrying all the spices and rubs, and carry even more lines than we used to. So we carry over 60 different spices, 60 different rubs and sauces. We carry cooking tools that you won't find elsewhere. We're very active in the competition community, so we learn a lot from them about what does and doesn't work.
Gosh, and I'm seeing all the posters for things that are going on with cook-offs and that sort of thing. But you know, it's important to know that you do have these spices, because so many times I'll be reading a recipe for something, and I know that I can't pick up that particular ingredient or rub at the grocery store. So that's great as an outlet for folks to know where they can get those.
Absolutely. People like to try something different, and we're sure that we always have that on our shelves. And it's true of grills and outdoor kitchens too. Our specialty in the outdoor cooking world is outdoor kitchen design and the construction of. We don't build them, but we work directly with builders. We design them, and we sell everything that goes in them. So one of the nice things about this store is it gave us the opportunity to display 4 literally completely set up working outdoor kitchens that you can come and take advantage of our expertise and time in building and learn from. The other is we've also got about 19 to 20 different outdoor grills that are set up. So if all you're looking for is that next Weber for your backyard, we've got it. But if you're looking for something completely different, we've got that too.
Well, I think it's important too, your point about that you don't build them, but you design them. And to have someone that is so familiar with what all is involved in the technique and the prep and all of that to be part of the design process, whereby maybe a builder is not an outdoor cook person. You know, that to me is a really great part of what you do. So as we continue with this wonderful show tonight on outdoor cooking, we've got Thanksgiving right around the corner, and Christmas, and everybody loves to put those things like turkey, standing rib roast, and you're going to actually show us how to do both. So come back with us after the break, and we're going to be getting those things going on top of one of these beautiful grills, and you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Welcome back, and Greg has just introduced us to everything possible that we could do in this store, and I'm so excited to be here. And we're going to get started on a turkey that's going to go on the big green egg.
That's right. Yeah, during the holidays we do a lot of cooking classes, and we do several in a row on turkey because it seems to us that turkey is among those cooks that intimidates people the most. We believe it's got a lot to do with in-laws, but we're not sure about that. We think the in-laws are coming and people are having to perform. So we keep the turkey very simple. A brine is a popular way to do a turkey, but we choose not to do it most of the time here. We find that if you roast or smoke your turkey and you're careful to temper the meat on the front end, and you are just as careful to get it off the grill or out of the oven before it's actually done, allowing the temperature to continue to carry over, that the tenderness is such that it really doesn't justify the brine. So what I'm going to do now is basically rub it down in something a little healthier than butter. Frequently you'll find that people will rub a bird down with butter on the front end for a couple of reasons. It gives it a beautiful golden finish when it's, or color when it's cooked, but it also helps those spices adhere to it real nicely. Pecan oil is our choice for cooking oils because several things. One, it's far healthier, but two, it does not burn or smoke until it exceeds 480 degrees, whereas virgin olive oil and a lot of popular oils actually smoke or burn at 320. But we're going to cook this bird in the 400s, 350 to 400 a majority of the time, so we don't really want it to be a situation where we're worried about having a burned taste to that cooking oil the whole time.
And you sell the pecan oil
here? We
do.
We sell a lot of pecan oil here.
Those are black gloves. You know, I love those black gloves.
They work great. So then, as far as seasoning the bird, it's really just use a seasoning that you like very much liberally. We're using a Mediterranean seasoning here.
That is wonderful.
It's got a real nice flavor to it. Now, one thing about poultry is when you're leaving the skin on with poultry, you're really not getting a lot of seasoning down into the meat itself. So one of the things that I really like to do is I'll pull the skin up off of the turkey breast and I'll season underneath it. So that way I'm getting a little bit more seasoning down into the meat that I'm actually going to serve. So, you know, a lot of people in my family, most of my family is not going to eat the skin at all.
I love the skin.
I do too. I'm not completely sure I understand all that, but during the holidays the rules just don't apply. But in order to get up underneath there and really get that seasoning onto the actual meat, you can just separate it by literally just running your hand up underneath the skin like that, and then season up underneath it. So I'll just literally place it under there with my hand like so, and
on the glove.
it'll massage that seasoning into the breast of the bird itself.
And this is about an 18.5 pound turkey.
So the way we're going to cook this bird today is we're going to use a big green egg. Now in this case we're using an extra large, but I've used a large for many years, and most of the people watching, if you've got an egg, the chances are good that you've got a large. It's about 73% of the size that's out there, and if you're using a competitive brand to the egg, it's almost certainly the equivalent of a large. So for your edification, the reality is you can put an 18 to 20 pound bird on a large very easily. You can either do it laying down on a V-rack, or you can do it standing up on a vertical rack, on a standing rack, either one. So then, in this case, the legs are already trussed. The wings, if you're not comfortable doing this, just generally push it until you think it's going to break. It may actually. It doesn't matter. It's going to tuck nicely, and it's going to hold that wing up in there. The only reason you really want to do this is because as you do it, it will hold those meats up against each other tighter, and it will keep that all of the meats cooking at the same pace or at the same rate, so that your doneness isn't far greater on the wing or the drumstick that's sticking out in the air like that. So then this bird is really ready to go on a smoker or an oven or a grill.
Great. All right. So now what if you don't have a green egg?
Yeah, a lot of people have a gas grill that's equipped with a rotisserie. So if that's the case, you've already got the equipment that you need. A lot of people will do a rotisserie bird, and it doesn't mean you can't enjoy smoke too. I personally really like doing a smoked rotisserie bird, and I'll use a setup like this, where I'll put smoke here on a smoker box or a smoker pan. I'm using the rotisserie burner. I've got my bird set up.
Look at that bird, it's so cute.
Generally, this is going to be about a 2.5 hour cook for an 18 to 20 pound bird on a rotisserie, keeping the lid closed the whole time.
Well, we've got a lot to look at here, but I wanted to quickly remind everyone that as you're doing that early Christmas shopping, don't forget there are lots of accessories down here, and I wanted to particularly point out for the guy that has everything.
Yeah, this is a really neat find. It's very hard to find a skillet or a cook pot that you can use in a green egg because the handles are a problem when the lid's closed. And in this case, the handles are detachable.
Look at that.
It's a titanium non-stick, and it just works beautifully in an egg. So we carry items like this and a ton more that are really handy for the eggs and the other outdoor
Great
grills.
gift ideas. Well, let's get this on the big green egg. Come back with us after the break, and we're going to be getting a standing rib roast,
That's right,
which I love too, ready to go. So come back with us. All right, I'm getting ready for a potluck supper. Nothing I love to do more. But you know what's very disappointing is when you've put together a list of things that you want your guests to bring, like ham and green beans and cream corn, sliced tomatoes, and you're busy making your part of the meal, and you get a phone call that someone has decided to change what they're making. Always deliver on promised goods. If you tell someone that you're going to bring a tossed salad, that's what you need to bring. If you are going in with someone on taking a meal to someone, try not to make any substitutions because the whole meal has been planned around what you're doing. So you may run out of time or not be able to do something, but it's always important to deliver on what you said you were going to make, because again, everyone is expecting each person to do their part of the meal, and we want it to be a great meal. Welcome back, and if you have just joined us, I'm with my good friend Greg McCulley at Fireside Outdoor Kitchens, and we have already prepared a turkey that's on the big green egg.
That's right.
And now you went to Fresh Market and picked up a standing rib roast.
We sure did.
And we are going to get that going.
Now, standing...
I say we, you're doing it all. You're doing all the work.
Oh no, got to have my support team. Standing rib roast is definitely one of the most popular cooks during the holiday season that we get asked about. Fresh Market does a great job of providing a nice, clean, trimmed piece, but there's still some work to do. Generally, a standing rib roast, one of the nicer things about the finished product is that you want the ribs to be visible, kind of the crown effect, or the one of protruding. So you're going to do a little bit of trim work in that, but first you're going to season it. Where did my oil go? There we go. So I'm going to recommend you use a pecan oil the same way you did before with the turkey, and that's, again, to allow the seasoning to really adhere properly, but also you're going to find that pecan oil gives a nice sweet flavor, and it's a lot healthier cooking oil than some of the other alternatives. Obviously,
since it's got a sweet flavor, is it going to get that crispness going like like you would if there was sugar in it?
Yeah, it is. And when we do a reverse sear, you're going to find that you get a really nice bark or a char, more so than you usually would. So in this case, one of the things I want to trim off is we've got this big piece right above the loin that we really don't want. So we're going to take that piece and we're going to just cut straight down to the rib.
And that is one sharp knife, Greg.
It is. There's a couple of tools you really need if you're going to enjoy cooking, Vera, and a really nice knife and a really nice temperature gauge are a couple of those tools. So you're going to go, just follow that bone down, and then you're going to want to trim it right here. You just want to make that turn nice and gently, and you're going to want to take that piece right out.
I see.
I would also take the outside of the other bone and just trim that off. It's going to make for a much prettier presentation. You don't have to do it. You could absolutely do it as they sell it. And then I would recommend, once that's done, we're not going to do all three at this time, but I would recommend that you re-tie it back up. You don't want to cook this like this, because if you do, you're going to end up with a lot of your juices allowing to escape. So then I'd also season inside that cut. If you've got one that is cut like that, candidly, I kind of prefer to have one that's not. I'd prefer to have it not be cut open like this. It would be bought like this.
Right, right.
But if it is, then take advantage of it and go ahead and season all up inside it. Once you've done, you want to season that thoroughly, and then you're going to want to tie it back so that it closes real tight. And that way, when you cook it, you're cooking it as one solid all the way through. So the method that we're going to recommend you do for a standing rib roast is something we call the reverse sear. And the reverse sear is one that ensures that you'll have a doneness all the way through to the center. When you do a steak and you do it really hot and fast, you frequently get that bullseye center.
Right.
This is a really big steak. And if you get a bullseye center all the way through, that means that some of your guests are going to consider the majority of this cut raw.
Right.
They're just not going to find that appetizing. So a reverse sear is one where you slow cook it first and you cook it very hot and fast towards the end. When you do that, you ensure that it is done evenly all the way through to the center. So
And when you say a slow cook, you're what, at 225?
yeah, you're going to. The most important things on this cook are going to be take this out of the refrigerator very early. Let it temper properly on your countertop, coming up to room temperature. So then it goes into the grill at about 225. You're going to leave it on the smoker or grill at 225 until the internal temperature reaches about 110, 112 degrees. Only way you're going to know that is if you've got a really good temperature gauge to measure that internal temperature. That is unbelievable.
Gift.
Unbelievable. Gift for sure. A thermopin is probably as good as it gets for an internal read thermometer. It is an instant read, and we sell others that you leave in the grill the whole time. And then once it reaches about 110 to 112, you're going to take this off the grill, spike that cook temperature up over 500 degrees, and then you're going to put it back in for about a half an hour at 500 plus degrees.
Oh,
it
gosh.
will not ruin it, I promise.
Oh, man.
It will sear the outside. It'll give you that crusty bark that you were describing earlier. It will also cause that temperature to push towards that finish. After 30, you're going to take it out, put it on the counter, and you're going to find that it rises on the counter up to about 135 to 145, depending on what you want.
Gosh, there's so much chemistry involved, and I failed chemistry, Greg.
So did
so
I.
I've got a lot to learn, and I hope you're learning a lot tonight, too. So come back with us after the break. We're going to be showing you the finished product and how to carve a turkey properly. Welcome back, and if you are not in the holiday cooking mode by this point, then you have completely missed the boat today. And we have a beautiful display. Greg, I tell you, it is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Everything looks wonderful. So why don't we start with the standing rib roast? I can't wait to
You can't
taste
lose starting there.
No.
So we basically cooked the standing rib roast until we got an internal temperature of about 120 degrees. We took it off and let it rest, and the internal temperature rose up into the 140 range. The beauty of the reverse sear, though, is, as you can see, is the doneness temp is so even, which would be really hard to do on a beef cook that thick. So it guarantees that you're going to have a real even cook that you can serve without worrying about those who want something extremely rare or something that isn't. You're going to be able to get the whole thing to a nice medium rare or whatever your desired doneness is. Now on the turkey, the doneness temp there, you're going to take that bird off somewhere in the mid 140s. In this case, we took this bird off at about 148 degrees. And it's going to also need a little bit of time to rest. Probably the question we get the most is about carving their bird, and probably the most important thing is that you carve the breast correctly. If you carve it on the bird, like so often is done, you're going to be cutting horizontal to the direction of the meat itself, and it's not going to end up being near as tender. So what I like to do is remove the entire breast in one piece.
Gosh, this is such a great tip.
When you do that, you're going to be able to carve it flat on a cutting board, which is a lot more convenient than if you're cutting it on the bird itself.
Okay,
so let's go ahead and remove that.
And I'm just going to take this home, right?
I don't blame you. You got it? Thank you. So then you're going to want to carve the rest of this bird to where you're cutting across the grain.
Oh, gosh. You know, for those folks that said they don't like the skin,
Yeah.
I'm just going to be lassoing that.
You can be the person that does. That's right.
And it's so moist.
It is. And that's a key to getting it off the grill at the right time. Moistness is really a function of getting meat off of an oven or a grill before it's done. I say often that if you take something off of a grill or an oven, when it's done, you'll serve it overdone 100% of the time.
Right.
And the reason is because temperature continues to rise for some period of time after it comes off that grill. So resting is probably the single most important thing that you do.
Of course, I get to taste this too,
You do.
right?
That is your prerogative.
I mean, that is so good.
Good.
So moist. And you know, just from a creative standpoint and from the catering standpoint, to be able to present something that's this beautifully golden on the outside, and I could see, you know, just fresh vegetables and beautiful garnish. But you have actually got a cutting board here that I am completely fascinated with. And you know, it's that time of year where you're thinking about what to give as a gift, and there are just so many choices of things that you can do for a wedding gift to, you know, just something as a Christmas gift, and all kinds of monogramming. So that's amazing. I love that.
Thank you. All of our cutting boards are priced with their engraving. So you tell us what you want on it, pick the font, pick the handle style, and in 14 days it's going to come back engraved the way you chose, and the price that's listed is the price you're paying.
Well, I think that we have accomplished today the opportunity to show you what you can do with outdoor cooking, and certainly if you need something that has to do with outdoor cooking, it certainly can be done right here at Fireside. I want you to come visit. You know, I usually put the recipes on the website, but right now you need to come down here and see what Greg and his team have to offer. But I want to remind you to keep watching this fall as we continue with our holiday series. Thank you so much for being part of the Vera Show, and Greg, thank you for letting us join you.
Thank you.